to us, we'll tell it to you, but, well, you'll see if it's true. So one day, there was a man in Ghana, and he was digging up yams in his garden. He was digging up yams and pulling them out and stacking them up and digging them up and stacking them. And he pulled out this one yam, and it said,
"You're hurting me."
Oh! Talk, did you hear that? Talk, did you hear that? Talk. Well, now that man, he took the yam and he went running down the road till he came to where a friend of his was fishing by the river. His friend was fishing by the river, throwing his line out, pulling it up, throwing it out, pulling it up, and he came running up to him and he said,
"Strange things are happening in the land."
"Like what?"
"Well, I was digging up yams. I pulled up this big one and started crying."
"Yams don't cry. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, and then he pulled up this big fish, and the fish said to him,
"That's right, buddy."
Whoa! Talk, did you hear that? Talk. Well, now the two friends went walking down the road, and they came to a place where a friend of theirs was picking bananas in the tree, and they called up to her, and they said,
"Strange things are happening in the land."
"Like what?"
"Well, I was digging up yams. I digged up this huge one and it just started crying."
"Yeah, when I was fishing, fishing. I got this really big fish and he was wobbling around the river. And it said, 'That's right, buddy.'"
But she said,
"Yeah,
she said, you know that.
fish can't talk.
And what about yams?
And yams can't talk either.
And then she reached for a big banana, and the banana said,
Sweet and juicy."
Whoa! Talk, did you hear that? Talk, did you hear that? Talk. Well, now all three friends went running down the road. They were running down the road until they came to where a friend of theirs was swimming in the river. And their friend was swimming in the river, and they called out to him.
"Strange things are happening in the land."
"Like what?"
"When I was digging up yams, I digged up this huge one and just started crying."
"Did you take your medicine today?" "Yeah, when I was fishing, fishing. I got this really big fish that keeps on flopping around everywhere. And it said, 'That's right, buddy.'" "Are you sure you didn't say that?" "No, that's really." "Well, when I was thinking of Hughes, and I said sweet and juicy." "Bananas can't talk."
Yeah, but then the river said,
"Absolutely."
Whoa! Talk, did you hear that? Talk, did you hear that? Well, now all four friends went running down the road. They went running down the road to go see the queen of their land. The queen of their land. She was a wise and powerful woman. She sat in her throne room where she was all alone. And they all came running and talking at once, yelling and talking.
Show some respect to your queen. You too. What are y'all doing in my throne room running there, lugging around like wild animals? You with the thing, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
"I was digging up yams and it just started crying me."
Yeah. Your problem is that you have too much sun. You the fish thingy.
"Yeah, when I was fishing, fishing. I got this fish that's really big that keeps on flopping everywhere. And it said, 'That's right, buddy.'"
Anyway, what's your story?
"Well, when I was fishing, it says sweet and juicy."
Right. You with the blubber feet. Wetty mouth floor. What do you want?
"Well, when I was swimming, the river said, 'Help me.'"
That water must have gotten your head. Y'all know that yams and fishies and bananas and water don't talk. So you two and you two, get out of my castle and don't tell this to anybody.
And the queen sat back on her throne, all alone in her throne room, and she spoke to herself, for she often spoke to the wisest person in the room, and she said,
These crazy people coming in my castle saying that inanimate objects be talking. These people are crazy. Something's wrong with my land. Oh no.
"You're absolutely right, Queen."
said the troll. Whoa! Talk, did you hear that? Talk, did you hear that? Talk, did you hear that? Talk.
They They told it to us, we told it to you, but we don't even know if it's true.
So let's have a big hand for Gavin Story Burners. Everybody on stage, please come on up to the stage. First of all, Shantae Smith, who joined us just a few days ago, and her brother, her cousin, Makari. Yes, and Calvin Smith. And Carlos Oliveras and Kristen Williams. These are our student storytellers, and Doria Hughes and Andrea Lovett, our number team. Nathan Fowler, our interpreter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Happy New Year, everybody.